Welcome back to Hughes and Hoellman. Today I'm out in the garden getting the rest of my onions into the ground. This is what we're going to be doing today in the videos, just focusing on the onions. Also, if you notice, my little buddy's with me today. My son, he is strapped on my back in his carrier, and he would not nap, so he's joining us for some onion planting today. Okay, so now I'm planting out my seeds that I started in February. So I did wind up doing 3 rounds of onion seeds. I did one batch in January that didn't do so well, another one in February and in March. So the February batch is the one I'm planting out now. And they're from Gurney's. I have candy hybrid, which is a sweet yellow onion, and then a bush hybrid, which is supposed to be a pink-skinned onion. I don't see much color in the ones that are the bush hybrids now, so I don't know. Maybe those just didn't germinate, and only the candy did. But we'll see when things, start to bulb out what color they are. When I'm planting out onions, I like to keep it simple. First, I create a shallow trench. Just keep it deep enough to tuck the roots in comfortably. Then I lay the onions in the trench and eyeball the spacing. I don't measure anything out precisely. I just imagine the size of a mature onion bulb, like a little circle of space around each plant, and I just go with that. I mean, you could be more exact, and maybe I should be, but this method works fine for me. I used to create individual holes for each one, but that tended to take up a lot of time. So once they're spaced out, I backfill the trench and I, use the soil that I pulled away and just pull it right back over it. Once you get them watered in and they settle in and start rooting on their own, they'll start standing up. So you'll know that they have taken. If your onion is, still laying down and it's been about a week or so, that onion may not be in the best of shapes. So this bed is going to be the mix of onions and marigolds and tomatoes. So the onions and the marigolds are in, just going to get the tomatoes in, and I hope that they will work well together. Hopefully the onions will deter pests and the marigolds as well, and the marigolds can hopefully bring in some nice color. All right, so I had some onions left over that I didn't get to fit in the bed that we were just in. So I'm going to put the rest of those onions here in this bed. This is where I had planted out the onions that I started in January. So they'll get planted here. In this bed, it's the peas as well. Uh, and I had used this space before the past 2 seasons to plant out my tomatoes, but I'm going to give this area a break from tomatoes instead, so I'm rotating in my peas and onions, and I may put actually another crop here. I'm not sure what, but something else here, maybe cucumber. Um,
It's really important to do crop rotation in the garden. It does help to prevent diseases and nutrient depletion. So, when you grow the same crop in the same spot year after year, you build the risk of having pests and pathogens in the soil that specifically target that plant. Plus, different crops have different nutrient needs. So, rotating helps keep the soil balanced and healthy. So this year, there'll be no tomatoes here, just peas and onions and maybe the cucumbers or some type of melon that can trellis up. I'll probably keep I'll probably keep the tomatoes out of this area next year too, just to make sure the soil is really refreshed before I bring them back.
All right, I got my onions planted. I still have another set of onions that I planted late. So um, I planted onions, I started my seeds, I should say, in January. Um, but a good portion of those seeds didn't make it. So then I started another set of seeds like the first week of February. And those are the ones that we just planted out. And then I started another set of seeds um, probably the end of February, beginning of March time. And I'll show you where they're at now. And they all are doing great. I just don't know if I have space for them, but let me show you what they look like. All right, so these are the onions I planted in March. Um, and they look good. This one, obviously, it was a seed that was left over in the soil. Um, but, oops, I'm out of focus. But these are the ones, yes, I planted in March. Okay, so I'm gonna plant my onions here, and we'll see if they do anything. They are a late started onion, but they are the New York early, so they don't need as much time as some other onions. I think it's just like 100 days, so fingers crossed.
Okay, so I planted out most of those onions as you saw, but there are some that didn't get planted as I just got tired of planting all those onions. So what I'm going to do is I have this cabbage here in this bed that's bolted. So I'm going to remove those cabbages and put in different small bunches of those onions and kind of see what happens and hope for the best. So each one of those bunches had about like 5 or 6 onions in them. So again, instead of separating them out, I just planted them as is, and those probably won't give me nice bulbs. I am okay with that. I'm just gonna maybe harvest them as like green onions or just some small bulbed onions and I don't know, figure out something to do with them. But I did not feel like planting each individual one out anymore. Um, so as you saw, I just cleared out the cabbage that had bolted. Then I made space to tuck the onions right in. I actually did give a little bit of those cabbages to the chickens, and then I used the rest just to make some cabbage wraps, which actually turned out to be pretty delicious. So a nice way to use your bolted cabbage. All right, so the last thing I'm doing out here in the garden today is dealing with these few cabbage starts that I never actually planted in the ground. I've run out of space for at least the cabbages since they take a bit to grow and form their cabbage head. So I did find a little home for them right next to the chicken coop. There's a spot here where the chickens can reach their head through and nibble on the leaves as the cabbage grows. I'm not planning to harvest these. I'm just going to let them do their thing, grow, bolt, and eventually go to seed. And honestly, it's totally fine with me. It's like having a living snack bar for the chickens, and they'll absolutely just love it. So it's a fun little way that I can use my leftover plants and give my chickens something fresh to peck at. And with that, I've officially planted out the rest of my onions. Thank you so much for hanging with me today in the garden. I really appreciate you taking a little bit of your time to spend it here with me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.